Good morning, my walking warriors or my walking friends. How are we doing today? I hope this beautiful sunshiny day finds you doing okay. So we're going to delve into a very serious topic of missing women off the Yakama Indian Tribe. But first, I wanted to talk about this heat wave that we're all experiencing. Normally here in Oregon, we have like Seattle type weather where it rains a lot and that it's a lot cooler here than it is in everywhere else. And not this year. We hit a record high back in July with 115 degree heat. And ever since then, it's been fluctuating between 89 to 107. And this just goes to show what kind of damage we're doing to our environment and what kind of damage the huge corporate officials are doing to our environment. Corporations are actually ruining our environment by their factories and their farms and all sorts of things. And we really need to do something about that, whether it's switching to Impossible Burger to going vegetarian. There are different things that you can do that would be good for the environment. You can change your beauty product regimen to all cruelty-free beauty products because they test on the animals and it costs a lot of money for corporations to do this testing on animals. You can decide to ride your bicycle to work instead of driving, or use a more convenient method, like if you're close enough, you can walk. You can walk to the store, you can walk to wherever that you need to go that's close, and you don't always have to drive. There's just so many different things that you can do to make sure that our planet starts to heal itself, because over time, as long as we get these corporations to stop damaging our environment, we can actually start to heal ourselves. The environment and the atmosphere will heal itself. Do you have any ideas as to how you can help? If so, I would love to hear them, and I would love it if you would share your ideas or thoughts down in the comment section. Also, I wanted to say that I am so excited for today because my son, my 20-year-old son, that is on the autism spectrum, he is coming to visit today with his husband, and they're bringing my child, Caden, home. Now, for those of you that don't know, I have a child named Amaya. Her legal birth name is Amaya, but she doesn't like that name, so she now goes by Caden, and they use the pronouns they and them instead of she and her. So they have been in Yakama for the last 2 months, and they are coming home today, and I am so excited because I miss my babies. And we are going to celebrate Gabriel's birthday today, and we're gonna go swimming, and we're just gonna have a good time as a family. Yesterday, I got the opportunity to hang out with a new friend that I have made here, and we went swimming, and I got to sit in the hot tub for a good time period, like 15 minutes. And let me tell you, after my walk yesterday, my knees were hurting, my back was hurting, my feet were hurting, and sitting in the hot tub did wonders for me. I sat right in front of the jets, so it hit that spot in my back that was hurting, and it felt like a nice massage. Also, the heat itself did a lot of good to loosen up my joints and to feel good on my muscles. And then I would get into the pool and I would swim, which is a good alternative for exercise if you find that you're having a hard time doing low impact or high impact exercising. Excuse me, I don't know what's going on with my voice today. So, if you find that you're having a hard time, talk to your doctor and maybe he can suggest to you to do some water walking at a physical therapy place that does water walking. Maybe he can set you up with water aerobics somewhere. Maybe he can suggest different places where you can do the exercising that you want to do. So it's just a thought, but make sure, as always, to discuss with your doctor before you start a new workout regimen. Now, today I'm going to be talking about disappearances, like I said, and I do have my notes, but I wanted to put a disclaimer out there. And I'm sorry, I probably should have put a disclaimer over the last video that I did about the indigenous women of the Yakama Indian Tribe. Some of these stories are very difficult to listen to. There may be violence in these stories. So just keep that in mind when you're listening to these situations and circumstances as to what happened to them, is that there are more than likely violence that is involved, and it can be very heart-wrenching. And so just keep that in mind. So, missing persons. Rosalita Faye Longy being investigated by the Yakama Nation Tribal Police. Last seen on June 30th, 2015 at 10 p.m. in Wapato, Washington. She was last seen by her grandmother, Verlyn Faye Longy, at her grandmother's house, but was asked to leave because the house rule was no one under the influence can be at the house, and Rosalita was under the influence of some sort of substance. This was a family rule. It was a house rule. If you're going to be at my house, you will not be under the substances. If you are under the influence of any substance, you're not allowed to be at my house, basically. She left and she was never heard from again. Miss Longy is 5'5" to 5'8", 125 to 140 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes, scars on her chest and both wrists, and her ears and lips are pierced. The scars are from surgeries when she was a baby from a stridor, which is a noisy breathing from obstructive airflow through a narrowed airway. Sorry, I'm trying to read my own handwriting. Which in her case was severe and needed immediate attention. She had some sort of an obstruction. She needed to have immediate surgery because it was severe enough that it needed immediate medical attention. When Rosalita, or Rose to her family, was 2 years old, her mother signed custody over to her grandmother, Rosalita's grandmother, her mother's mother, to raise, which was on Verlyn's birthday, so she felt Rose was her birthday gift. It was Verlyn's birthday. Her daughter came to her and said, "I'm sorry, I just can't do this. I want to sign custody of Rosalita," or Rose as her family called her, "to you. Would you be willing to take her?" And Verlyn said, of course, and she felt like that Rose was the ultimate birthday gift. Rose is a registered Fort Peck Assiniboine. I hope I'm saying that right. and Sioux tribe of Poplar, Montana, but was living on the Yakama Reservation in Wapato, Washington. Berlin has been searching homeless shelters, treatment centers, and cheap hotels ever since she disappeared. She looks for her in crowds and calls out her name to women that resemble Rose to see if it actually is Rose. Quote, "She was so helpful and kind of silly," end quote, Berlin stated. So if you know of any information or if you have heard of anything, please call the Yakama Nation Tribal Police. I gave the phone number in the last video and I don't have it with me, unfortunately. But report it to the Yakama Nation Tribal Police because her case is still open and her family is desperately searching for her still to this day. The next case is Karen John Lee Wallace, Yakama Nation Tribal Police. Last seen at the Lazy R Tavern by a friend during the evening of November 7th, 1987. She was 5 feet tall, 100 pounds, black hair, and brown eyes. Last seen wearing a Levi denim jacket, a pink t-shirt, and white tennis shoes. And unfortunately, that's all the information that I was able to find on Karen Wallace. It's a sad case when there's no further information given. And hopefully, if you know of any information, I understand this happened a long time ago, 1987. That was 40 some odd years ago, 30 some odd years ago. Must have been 30 some odd years ago, coming up on 40 years. But if you know or have heard of any information in regards to Karen John Lee Wallace, please contact the Yakama Nation Tribal Police. Daisy Mae Heath, Yakama Nation Tribal Police. At the age of 29, Daisy was last seen around the end of August in 1987. She was officially reported missing on October 29th, 1987. She was later presumed dead 7 years later. Keys and a backpack of hers was found by Soda Springs, northwest of White Swan, in a remote area of the reservation. The FBI originally referred to her as Daisy Mae Tallman and referred to it as a suspected homicide. This is a very sad situation. They don't know where she is. They don't know what happened to her. All they know is that some of her belongings were found out in a remote location where not very many people venture off to. Just some random person was walking by and found her backpack and her keys, and that's it. They still have yet to find her body. She is presumed dead, and she was presumed as a suspected homicide by the FBI. Again, the FBI referred to her as Daisy Mae Tallman, but her name is actually Daisy Mae Heath. Janice Marie Hannigan, Yakama County Sheriff's Office. Was last seen in 1971 in Wapato, Washington. She was a sophomore at White Swan High School, but currently lived White Swan High School. She was the oldest of 7 children, but currently lived with her father near Harrow, Washington, instead of living with her mother. She was seen last at the hospital with numerous bruises on her head and chest on December 21st, 1971. It is unknown what hospital she went to, but upon discharge in satisfactory condition on December 24th, she left the hospital but never made it home and has never been seen or heard from again. She is 5 feet tall, 105 pounds, black hair, brown eyes, with a mole on her chin. Sorry. Again, she was seen at the hospital for bruises. It is unknown what the bruises were caused from. I don't know if she disclosed to the hospital why she had the bruises or what happened to her, but she was released from the hospital in satisfactory condition. She left to go back home to live with her father, and she was never seen or heard from again. I do not know if they have officially labeled her as being deceased, but if you know of any information in regards to I'm sorry, I just totally had a brain fart. Janice Marie Hannigan, contact the Yakama County Sheriff's Office. This is the only one that's different from the rest of them. The Sheriff's Office is handling it. I understand it happened 50 years ago this year. It'll be 50 years in October or December. But she's got to be out there somewhere. Somebody has to know some information about her. Now, there's a couple theories as to what has happened to these women. Of course, there's the theory where they just got tired of their lives and they decided to run away and start over again. But if that's the case, Daisy May shouldn't have been declared as being deceased. But if her family had her declared as being deceased, which your family members can do if you haven't been seen for, I believe, over 7 years, then that's a whole nother story. There's always the case where there was a serial killer, especially in the two that disappeared in the same year of 1987. There's a slight possibility that there was a serial killer that was preying on women. There's also the possibility to where people were preying on women to turn them into sex trafficking or human trafficking, for that matter, to work in sweatshops or to be sold for slavery, which does and did happen and does happen still to this day. A lot of people go missing to this day, and they're sold into sex trafficking, or they're sold into slavery or working in sweatshops. So, like I said, there's also the possibility where there was a serial killer involved, where he would take women and dispose of their bodies on the tribal land. And the tribal land is vast. If you remember, I informed you that Yakama tribal land is 1.3 million acres. So it's a vast, huge section. It goes from the lower valley in Washington all the way to Oregon. And I believe it crosses over the Columbia River and part of Oregon on the other side, but I could be wrong about that. if you know more information about just how far the Yakama Indian Tribe land goes, please leave it in the comment box to correct me. So, if you have any information, please contact the Yakama Nation. You can contact probably the FBI at www.tips.fbi.gov. That's www.tips.fbi.gov. Or you can call the Yakama County Sheriff's Office. So, there's also some solved cases that we'll discuss in the upcoming videos of deaths of women on the Yakama tribal land. And it's not just these small amount of cases that I'm sharing with you. There are hundreds of vanished women or murdered women or violence against women that happen on the Yakama tribal land, and people don't report it. It's almost like it gets brushed under the rug, which is sad, because these women matter. It's not just a tribal thing, it's a human thing, and these women matter, and we need to make sure that these women know that they matter, and it's not just something that's going to be brushed away like it doesn't matter to me because they have their own police and whatnot. No, they don't just have their own. I mean, yes, they have their own police, but it's also federal land, which means the FBI gets involved. And just because it's federal and just because it's Indian doesn't mean that we can't be supportive of these women finding their loved ones. And it doesn't mean that we can't share these videos to show the hostility and the violence that happens on the tribal land, because it's not just the Yakama tribe that it happens. It happens all throughout the United States on all separate tribal lands. It's not just Yakama Indian Tribe, it's the Sioux, it's the Cherokees, it's everything. And we need to stop just saying that it doesn't matter, because it's just tribal. It's not just tribal, it's human, it's women, I'm just blabbering now because I just get so frustrated. I'm a woman and I care about other women, and I care about how they're treated and how they're mistreated and whatnot. And yeah, we need to get the word out there. So if you know of any more cases that you would like me to make a video on, please leave it in the comment section. It doesn't matter if it's Yakama tribal, it can be anywhere. I know that I got a request to look into the disappearance of a gentleman that has been missing for a number of years, and I plan on doing research and making a video to help his mother get the word out there, because she's been trying to find her son for many years and nobody's talking. So I understand I don't have that many followers, but if you could share my videos so we can get the word out there, and maybe I can gain more followers just by sharing the word, which would share the word with other people. It's not that I'm searching for followers, it's that I'm searching to spread the word. And if that means by getting followers, you follow me and then you share me with your friends and they see that you follow me, so they start watching and they follow me and they share it with their friends, going to be spreading the word, and we'll be able to get the word out there to help these individuals and hopefully bring some closure for their friends and family. So I'm going to stop there today. I will see you again on, let's see, today's Saturday. I will see you again on Monday. How has your walking week been? Have you been doing good? I know I've been getting my steps in. I got in about 9.5 miles yesterday. So far, according to my Fitbit, I've already got about 4,000 steps in this morning. I've been out walking since approximately 6:30 this morning, so yeah, just get out there and walk and pop on my videos and listen to them as you walk. Get a good pair of earbuds. I've got my new earbuds that I absolutely love. They're called Monovos, and they work great. I feel that the microphone is a lot better in these than the last earbuds that I had. So anyways, you might look into Monovos, or Raycoms I hear are really good too. I believe Beats also makes a really good earbud. And then of course you got your earbuds and all that. And no, I am not sponsored by any of these companies. I have no sponsorships. I'm just suggesting good earbuds that I've heard about. So you have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you later. Bye.